Hi everyone, welcome back. We are
selling it.
We're in the process of wiring up the computer. So from the last time we did get that wire in from under the transmission area that goes into the transmission. 3 plugs into the quick 6, and then that one wire we used a engine entry there for the engine wire. We're not going to set this up completely. We're just going to kind of throw it together and get it running.
Just the basics for today. None of the fanciness. We'll do the fancy shit later.
And yeah, so it comes out, basically just take the ender fender liner out, and that's where it's going to go through. We're going to tape up these wires so they don't get any damage to them from chafing on it. And then up through here.
Out below your battery box.
Yeah.
And just run her down across and, you know, chop all the wires to your ECU and start plugging shit in.
So, US Shift includes a wiring diagram for most vehicles that you would do this type of stuff on. Our power wire, there are 2 options for that. 12 volt. It's basically you unbolt this, take this top portion off, and it's the first bank here. You'll find the wire on the diagram, and we use a pin. Basically, you just remove the pin, and what we did is we cut a hole in the side. So imagine this is wire. We just made an entry on one side, got the new wire, wrapped it around it, soldered it, and taped it pretty much. We didn't want heat shrinking, but I don't have that right now. I can go back and do that later. But now what we're doing is trying to find the engine ground. So from the ECU, it's going to be in one of these plugs. And yeah, one of these 4, I think. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're kind of just trying to get through this as fast as possible. We do need to get out of here.
We've been doing this for over 12 hours.
We should have been done yesterday, but we ran out of time. So in essence, we got the power, putting the ground in, and then we're getting the inputs. It's like speedo, tachometer, and then we also need the backup light for the reverse. So we're gonna probably just go through this really fast and get it up and running because we kind of need to get out of here. So that's kind of what we're doing. I'll probably show you the connections that we get set, but otherwise that's going to do it for right now. We'll come back once we do some more stuff. Hey everyone, we are back at our place. Unfortunately, we were not able to completely finish a swap when we were down in Salem at Vince's uncle's garage. We did end up towing the Mustang home. Pretty cheap, just with my insurance. Unfortunately, we did just run out of time, and this was pretty much our only option, is to take it home. So right now, what I'm doing is working on getting this all wired back up, or wired up properly. At the moment, we have the power, we have ground, we have the TPS inside. We now need to figure out what the backup lamp is. In the instructions, it says you need to get a one of these relays for it. And then also talking to Lito, he said that pin 25, which is kind of right there at my fingertip, that one is actually clean tack input. So I'm going to figure out how to get that in there. I might need to buy a pin, so that might delay us even further, but just part of the process. Still trying to figure out where the backup lamp is with the pin that it says it's supposed to be. I'm actually not seeing it in there. On the inside of the car here, I have not actually been able to put the tune on. Anytime I try doing it, it is giving me an error on the tuner. Not entirely sure why. Lito told me I should probably set the car back to stock and then try applying the tune, so I'll give that a try. Also, one other hang up, this will require me to get under the car, is my TCI shifter unfortunately will not work, or at least at the moment. I might try some things once I have the tune on. Basically, the tune will make the engine, or the ECU, think it's a manual. Right now, I'm not able to start the car because this shift lever actually doesn't go all the way forward into park. So that's where we're held up there as well. I can bring it through all the other gears pretty much, except for park. It doesn't go all the way up. So in the meantime, I do have a stock shifter I can put in, and then I could probably sell this one and buy a appropriate shifter for a 2011 to 14. I'm not certain if there's a way I can modify this. I'm probably just going to end up putting the stock one in for now, and then purchasing either 11 to 14 shifter, or TCI even makes one for the 11-14, so I might do that as well. Yep, so just diagnosing a couple things. I do have the relay for the backup lamp, just need to figure out where that comes in, and then I guess, I mean, pretty much everything else is wired except for the clean tack input and then the backup lamp, and just need to get the tune on, and we should be able to fire it up, fill up the transmission with the transmission fluid, and then give it a test drive, because we're pretty much right at the end of this. We just need to get the computer on. Also, the computer does come on, and it's not actually showing any errors. Before I got the TPS on, it said it had an error. Right now it's just showing 2 bars. I haven't read into much what that means. I'll just have to read through the manual again and see what exactly we need to do, and then at that point we should be able to get it started and give it a test drive. So I'm still working on this. I probably will need to buy a new pin for the ECU connector there for the clean tack input, and then do some more research and figure out what pin I need for the reverse lamps. But once we have that, it should be good. Hey everybody, we are back. Just a cut in this video, unfortunately. I mean, I've been dealing with a lot of stuff recently, and we haven't really been able to continue working on the Mustang here. Also, Washington sucks, so it's just been raining constantly, so we can't do everything that we need to.
I got new taillights.
You got new taillights?
The only thing I've done.
He actually was able to find these vectors online, which are just discontinued, so that's pretty cool. It looks a lot better. We still haven't talked about what this Mustang's going to do, but
it's going to be black. It's going to be real black.
So the reason this is here is because my BDX SCT tuner is just crap. I've learned anytime I've had to do tuning on my Mustang, I've had to borrow Brandon's X4 tuner. This used to be Brandon's car, but is now Vince's. I've had to borrow their tuner to do data logging with Lido, because I guess the BDX tuner just doesn't have the parameters that he's looking for to actually do proper tuning on. So yeah, the X4 is much better. So
buy the X4. The
reason this is here is so we can swap out the tuner from his into mine. So we're literally just doing a straight swap. And so far it looks all good. We just we're still waiting on a tune. This car actually has Bama tunes for life. It's not tuned by Lido, so we're just waiting on a tune from that. We're also looking at the prospect of getting it tuned by Lido as well, because it might be cheap, and with the situation going on, he might just give us a discount, or, you know, make it easy. So now we have the X4 tuner in here, and we're able to swap over the tune. Since this car started as an automatic, it has the ECU tuned for an auto. So now that the ECU doesn't see that there's a transmission in here, because it's not connected to a harness or anything, it's not going to start. So we need to swap the tune over to a manual transmission. For our automatic transmission. And since the BDX tuner's something is just stupid with it, it's not doing it. So we need the X4 tuner. I'm going to send this info to Lido, and he'll be able to tune it, and we'll be able to fire it up. In this, how it's right now, it actually can fire up. I've gotten the quick shift computer all wired up. I got a lot of shit in here. Unfortunately, the ratchet shifter is not going to work. Basically, the spacing with the gears from park to reverse and whatnot, it's not going to work. I might just buy a 2011 to 14 shifter. Might make it easier. Just have it under here just to get it running. I'm literally just going to pull the shifter linkage. It'll be good enough. Quick 6 is all wired up, and I really wanted to go into more detail with how everything's wired up, but just how crazy things have been, haven't done that. So I will go over basically all these connections to the ECU here. Basically, this is the wire harness, put some loom on it, and from what I remember, we have connections to the speedometer. Yep. We have connections to the tachometer. Basically, there's a clear tach input from my year ECU. We have the there's a whole diagram online that we can just show you. I might just put a photo up on the screen, but it's all relatively straightforward. You just have to find the pins in here. You only really have to wire into the ECU here, or the PCM, and then the fuse box here for the ECU power, and there's a red line right here that goes to it. Yeah, I definitely want to go in more information, more detail with this, because I'm sure literally everyone's gonna have questions about it.
Yeah.
I'm already getting questions pretty much every day in my Instagram and everything, so that's pretty much where we're at with the 6R80 swap. We're just so close. We just need to get the tune for the ECU on there, and then yeah, turn it on, fill it with trans fluid, and then get the shifter actually sorted out. But in the meantime, I can just pull the shifter linkage and, you know, make it work that way.
If you want your quick 6 wired in, we'll send you a Davis. You just have to pay for airfare, a place to sleep,
Oh
some
my
food,
God.
and like 3 times what he'd make it work.
Honestly, that wouldn't be a bad deal. I did call up the guys from US Shift with my questions, and they picked right up and, you know, literally gave me all the information I needed. So they're really helpful, and, you know, it was like 3 p.m. on a Friday or something. You know, they just answered. Pretty nice. Yep, so I'm going to go ahead and send that email out to Lido and also get Vince's, you know, Bama tune.
Yep.
Right now it's just on a preset. It does run. So not the worst case. We'll get it Monday or Tuesday or something. Should be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and end off this video here. We'll be able to push out much more content once this is literally up and running. There's going to be lots of tuning too that we're going to need to do. There's preset tunes you can put on the controller, and once that's on, it's just up to you to tune it. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end off here. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and we'll see you later.